thanks for joining us here at Cakes, Cooking & More. I'm Marie Lockwood. Today's recipe is a coconut cream pie, which is actually one of the favorites. So let's see what we need. Okay, so for this recipe you need a few things. We have some sugar. Both of these are milk. Both of these are coconut, and it's the shredded coconut that's sweetened. We have some butter, some vanilla, some cornstarch, and some egg whites, and then of course a pie crust. We have the oven heating up, so it'll be ready in a minute. So in the meantime, we're going to get our pie crust ready, because you're actually going to cook your pie crust separate, because you have to do that with a lot of the cream pies. So we're just going to move a few things out of the way there. Okay. And these usually come, they're the frozen ones, and they usually come with 2 pie crusts. We're just going to be using 1 this time. You should be able to get a hold of the edge and just kind of roll it out. As long as you've defrosted it. If it's still frozen, you're never going to get anywhere. So make sure you give that plenty of time to defrost. It really doesn't take very long, probably 20, maybe 30 minutes at most. Alright, so get it in place in your pie pan. And they're never quite a perfect fit, so be prepared for that. Alright, so what you're going to do is on the side, you can flute your edges, which is just a matter of taking 2 fingernails and pinching them together in a spot. You can also use a fork if you want a different type of edge. There are lots of different types of edge that you can do. And I really don't usually bother with all of that and just pop them over to the sides. Make sure my pie crust is completely in shape and completely filling it. Alright, so we're just going to set this aside until our oven is ready, which will take a few minutes. And then we're going to start on our filling. We're still waiting on the pie crust to heat up. We're going to add our sugar into our pan and our cornstarch. And all of the amounts will be on the website. So if you guys want to make it, you can hop over there for that. There are some games on the website that you can play. They're all about food knowledge. Be aware they are hard, so I give you fair warning that if you can win them, that's pretty surprising. So far, out of all the people that have played, nobody's won. Alright, so we're just going to add our milk a little at a time and slowly stir that in, and we're going to heat this on medium until we've got a nice little boil going. So as soon as this starts to boil, we'll be back. And you just want to make sure that you give this a nice stir, because the cornstarch will become very thick and kind of clumpy. So you want to make sure you've got a really good stir as you're adding your milk. And that would be the oven for our pie crust. Trying to get the rest of our milk in. Alright, so we're going to pop the pie crust into the oven. And your container will have directions on it. It's usually 10 to 15 minutes. Mine says 11 to 13. And it's at 450. But you'll want to check your particular brand to make sure that's correct for you. So we'll get that in while we're waiting for this to come to a boil. Okay, now it's starting to bubble. We want to turn our heat down a little bit, and we just want to bubble this or boil it for about 2 minutes. Stirring the whole time to keep it nice and smooth so it doesn't get, like I said, it'll get real clumpy if you're not smoothing it out constantly. Now if you don't have cornstarch, you can use flour, and the recipe will have the amount of flour that you would use if you're, deciding to use that instead. I like the cornstarch because it gets a little thicker and creamier. So we're going to do this for 2 minutes and then we'll be back. Okay, so now that this has cooked for 2 minutes, we're going to move this to the side. I'm just going to stir for a minute and let it cool down so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. And it will if you don't do that, because Stirring helps cool it down faster. All right, we're going to take our egg yolks. Just give those a light beat. Doesn't have to be a lot. All right, I'm going to take around 1 cup of our mixture and add that in. I just want to use the fork and mix it pretty good. I'm going to turn down the heat on your burner to the lowest setting. Then we're going to add this back to our mixture. So I'm going to give that a good mix. Then we're going to put that back on the burner for 2 minutes at the lower setting and cook it again for another 2 minutes. Alright, I'm going to turn off your heat. Just remove that from the heat. We're going to add our little bit of vanilla, our little bit of butter, just give that a good mix. You want that butter completely melted, and you want the vanilla all the way through the whole mixture. Make sure you go back and rub down the sides. Alright, then we're going to take our coconut and add that. Again, just mix that really well. Alright, once that is well mixed, you're going to pour it into your pie pan. And it's going to fill it up pretty much all the way. It will look like it won't hold it all, but it really will. Alright, now once you've got all of this in, we're going to set this to the side and let this cool for just a minute while we get our meringue topping made. Okay, so for our meringue, we have our egg whites, we have a little bit of vanilla. We're going to go ahead and add that in. Once your vanilla is in, you're going to add your cream of tartar. And then we're going to start mixing it. And you do want to use a mixer or a whisk. It'll take you a little while with a whisk. We're just going to do this until we start to get peaks. Okay, you can see at this point we've got little peaks. So what we're going to do is we're going to start adding our sugar, just about a tablespoon or so at a time, and then beat it in on high until we have all of the sugar inside. Now once we have all of our sugar in, you do want to take your spatula and just scrape those sides in towards the middle. At the very edges you'll notice sort of a foaminess. That's parts that aren't mixed well. So you do want to just, like I said, just bring that back in towards the middle. And then you want to mix it for about a minute, and then you should be ready. Okay, when you're done, we'll take our spatula, just scrape off the sides again. Alright, and then we're going to take our pie. You just want to put that meringue right on top. Spread it out. You should be able to completely cover your inside filling, and you shouldn't be able to see that anymore. You shouldn't see anything but crust and meringue when you're done. So just make sure you're going all the way to the edge. Alright, once we have all of our meringue on, you can choose to do a little pattern or something in the top if you want. It's completely up to you. Some people like that. But do you have to? No. It won't affect the way it cooks. And again, just double check your sides and make sure you've got a good seal. It should go all the way to the crust and you should not be seeing any of the filling inside. And do whatever you want in the design. Alright, now that we have everything on there, kind of a cute little design that we want, I sort of try to form a little bit of peaks. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Alright, you're going to take your little bit of extra coconut. I'm just going to sprinkle that right on top. Try to get it all pretty well covered. Now once this is done, we're going to put this in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes at 325, and then we'll be back. You should notice a nice golden brown crusting. Okay, so now that our coconut cream pie is out of the oven, you can see it has a little bit of golden brown crust to it. We're going to put this in the refrigerator for around 3 to 6 hours. You want the inside to completely set so that it's not runny. Otherwise, that's it. So thanks for joining us here today. Cakes, Cooking, and More. I'm Marie Lockwood. Have a great day.